Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. And welcome back to a new series. We hope it's a new series anyway. Um, yeah, so it's been a while. I have been promising for a long time for a half decent project. And we finally have one. As you can see, I'm currently sat in a truck. This is my HGV. And it's actually a recovery truck. So the name's Clifford. It's an old Renault Midland XAA recovery. It's got aluminium tilt and slide bed, underlift spec, everything you want, except it has a whole ton of issues. I say ton of issues, it's lots of small things that were just neglected over its time when the previous owners had it. Yeah, so it's got ABS issues, air suspension issues, a huge engine issue. Whereas basically the low pressure fuel pump is over fueling the high pressure, which is causing smoke like hell. There's numerous oil leaks all over the engine. You wouldn't want to be behind it if you're following it whilst it's going down the road, because you will die of smog poisoning. So yeah, I set to, just before I got the diagnostics kit for it, I went around changing things such as the fuel pressure regulator, bought another engine. Unfortunately, when it arrived, it was the wrong engine, completely wrong. It was missing 2 cylinders, and I couldn't send the engine back, even though I tried my best. So I set about pinching stuff off it, like the injectors, other little bits and pieces that would still fit my engine. Yeah, changed all the injectors, and still had the same issue. Then the diagnostics kit finally arrived for this truck. Once I finally figured out how to get it to read the engine, because for some reason it uses different years of the same truck to get into the right modules, and sometimes you have to tell it it's a different type of Renault truck in order to get to them. Then we found out it was actually the low pressure fuel pump. So I set about looking at replacing it. When it came up with a price of about £2,500 just for that alone, I was like, no, not doing it, not doing it. Not when I know the engine kind of needs a rebuild. So, what did I do? I went onto the internet and I found something. And I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll have that. And I thought, I'll have everything else that's surrounding it. But before I show you that, I'll just show you the actual truck. So this is it. This is old Clifford, as we call it, because it's big and red. And this one, I did actually use it. Used it for quite a while doing recovery work. So there you go, it's your aluminium bed. So you've got your underlift spec and everything on it. But yeah, because of the amount of issues and stuff like that with this truck, ended up actually buying that one. Yes. So that has a rebuilt engine in. Unfortunately, it ended up having an accident about 2 months after they changed the engine. So we hop up and just cross over to the other truck a minute. I'll show you the old engine. So this is the engine that we bought that should have been a 6-cylinder, but is missing 2 of them. So it was no good to me, but plenty of useful parts. So then we bought this one. As you can see, there's a fair bit already missing. There's going to be a lot more missing by the time I'm finished with it, but it's going to be a perfect donor for my truck. Plus it's a facelift, but it still has all the components that I need. Yeah, so basically what happened was, apparently a fence found its way through the front of the heater box and went into the cab. The cab itself is kind of in the same condition, if not a bit better than my cab. But by the time we've rebuilt the cab, because this is how it turned up literally yesterday, so this is the day before filming this turned up. Yeah, I'm not rebuilding that. Cannot be bothered. Especially when my cab's pretty much complete. Yeah, it's obviously no bed on it at all. So the engine and gearbox is under that. I will jack the cab up in a minute so you can see the difference in that engine compared to that engine. I will roll some footage of bits and pieces being done with that one as well. But yeah, so that's the that's how far we are with this project so far. So I'm going to kick off today with trying to sort out the ABS issue, because my diagnostic system absolutely refuses to read the ABS module, and the air suspension module just keeps throwing back the same fault every time. Took me a little while to find where the modules were, because unlike most cars and things like that, there's no forums, there's no, well, there is forums, but they don't give you the relevant information, and most of it is in multiple different languages if you can find them, which is no good to me. So instead, I think all we're going to do is use the donor truck. At the same time, I'm going to try and create a self-made manual on how to repair it as I go along, because I can rip the living shit out of this thing basically and not overly worry about it, but at the same time I can learn where things are and things like this, because I've got a little bit of a experience with these trucks, but not massive, so I can do the work, that's not a problem. And yeah, we're just going to sorry, I was just reading something on the door there, it's alright. Yeah, so we're just going to sort of go through it. First of all, we're going to change the modules and see how we go. And there's also a valve block on the back of the cab, on the back of the chassis, which I need to swap with mine, providing it's the right one, because I've not yet rolled the bed back on my truck. But what I am going to do is turn my truck round, and then we're going to get into changing all the systems over and see if it's the computer that's gone wrong, or whether it's something else that's gone wrong. But considering I get no readings whatsoever from the module, that's how we're going to play it. Alright, so I've left the original modules in place. So donor, let's go and put a battery on and see what happens. So basically what I'm going to do first was just flick the key and see, when I start it, see if it still shows an ABS fault. Then we'll plug the computer into it and see what it says. Hopefully it says, oh yeah, it works. If not, we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so as we can see, we have the diagnostic setup here. Over there we have the replacement ABS module plugged in. I did try off camera the air suspension one, which is down there on the floor. That doesn't seem to work, whether it's just the fact I need to reset the diagnostics. So the original one's plugged back in, it is coming up, but it's throwing every fault. Now, this is what happens when you plug either ABS module in. So you push that one there, because it's the Webco DE. Bear in mind that this diagnostics does work with every single other module apart from the ABS. So whether it's this system or not, I don't know, but considering everything else works, it's a little bit concerning. So all we got is that. So what I'm going to do now is, on the back of the other truck, I'm going to pull that little solenoid off right there, or the control valve, and try and install it on this truck. So I'm going to leave this as it is, and I'll take that off camera, because it might take me a little bit of time to work it out. And yeah, see if we can get rid of all of those faults showing up on the dash there. Ta-da! Right, one valve block or modulator or whatever it is changed. So there's the one that we took off the chassis over there, and this is our old one. I think it may be the problem, but we're just I'm kind of just firing ideas at myself. So I've just rehooked up the batteries. We'll start it up, and then we'll run through diagnostics one more time and see if it does anything. But I wonder if it's going to start this time round. There we go. I've still got ABS defect for a moment, and air suspension defect. But we'll just let everything air up, and I'll be back with you in a minute. Dun dun dun. So after all that, we're still getting the same fault as before. I will just try changing the ABS module over to the original one more time. If not, we're going to probably wrap it up for today, and I shall try a couple of other little things in the morning. Yeah, let's get it changed over. Right, all changed over, so what we're going to do, we're just going to do it with the ignition on now, just see if it makes any difference whatsoever. I don't think it's going to, but we'll see. So, let's put the ignition on, so it's not running. Try and reconnect to it now we've changed it. It's probably not going to let us. It'll tick, make a few noises, and that'll be it. Yeah, it's taking an extremely long time to connect to the vehicle, so I reckon it's going to go nope. No. Okay, so what I'm going to do for the rest of the day is just tidy up a little bit, and yeah, there's not a lot more we can do today. So if you've enjoyed today's video, like, comment, subscribe, do all your usual. We should be back again in the next video, still trying to fathom out the situation. So I'm just going to rack the bed back, tidy up, and I think I'm going to call it a day. So I should catch you all in the next one.